Hi all. Like you, we were somewhat blindsided and frustrated by the mandate announcement on Friday for permitted workers, which basically includes almost all of the AWU Victorian Branch membership who weren't otherwise captured by mandates. We weren't consulted. The first I heard about it was when it was announced in the press conference. So decidedly less than impressed at the lack of consultation and the sort of ad hoc nature of the decision. But unfortunately, it is a lawful direction under the state of emergency declaration. So that's why we're not running off to court. I'm not interested in burning a couple $100,000 to find out what I already know. I think people are struggling to understand, and it took me a while to understand it, so I'm not having a go when I say that the state of emergency declaration gives state governments powers that we've never seen before to do what they need to do during a pandemic. And whilst we might question whether they're being over the top, what we can't question is the legality. So much as we don't like it, there's not a lot we can do to stop it. We can't go to court. What they're doing is entirely legal under the state of emergency declaration. I'm not saying we can't do anything, but we can't go to court. That's a pointless exercise. Fair Work's not going to resolve the matter. I've seen various copies of the transcript of the minority dissenting report from the Commissioner in the unfair dismissal around the flu jab in northern New South Wales. That's an interesting read, and that's about all it is. The majority of the full bench found that the dismissal was not unfair, and all of the case law backs that up. So we're in a really difficult situation where people who don't want to get the jab, and this is the bit that makes me the most angry, are being forced to make a call. They're either being forced to get a jab they're not comfortable with or don't want to get to keep their job, or they're facing the possibility of losing their job if they don't get the jab. That's just why mandates are a bad idea, but they're obviously doing it to stop the spread. Since it was announced, there's been about 3,500 cases in Victoria. So the question that's most asked of me is what happens if someone takes unpaid leave until the state of emergency is over? The current state of emergency can't go longer than, I think it's mid-December. What happens if they take long service leave or annual leave and then try and come back after that period? We're more than happy to support people in that, but I'm not going to offer false hope. I think it's going to be very difficult, particularly in the Victorian public sector, but across the board, to get employers to take people back who aren't vaccinated when the vast majority of their workforce by that stage will be vaccinated, as they are at least first jab vaccinated now. But if that's what an AWU member wants to do, then that is what indeed we will do. We'll support them in that. If members get sacked because they refuse to get the jab, we will happily run unfair dismissals. Not confident that that would end up in reinstatement, not confident that that'd end particularly well, but I said we'd support our members and we will, in any circumstance, because this is a very difficult time with people making a difficult decision. But I think the most practical advice I can give people is go and talk to your GP. For those of you, and there are many, who in good faith have some concerns about the vaccine or want to see how it plays out or haven't got around to it, go and talk to your GP. That's someone you trust, someone you know. Run through your concerns, see what they've got to say. That may assuage some of your concerns, it might not, but it's certainly worth a conversation that is worth having. So when the mandate comes in place, and we're seeing this obviously in the construction industry that are reopening tomorrow, courtesy of the good work that the industry, all the unions, including the AWU and the employers and peak bodies have done with VicGov. We'll get to see what happens if people try to turn up to work when they're not vaccinated. We'll see what happens with people who try to run out the clock. I'm not confident that that'll end well, but so be it. The thing to remember though is that if you have been vaccinated or plan to get vaccinated, you do not have to hand a copy of that over to your employer. You have to show it to them, on your smartphone or on your laptop or your iPad or whatever it might be. You don't have to give them access to your MyGov. You don't have to give them access to your Medicare. They have to cite the evidence. They don't get to keep it or store it. You do not have to hand over access to your medical records to your employer. Again, if you've had any issues with that, if you want to talk through with an official or you want to communicate with me via email or via this post on social media, please do so. It's just a difficult time, but the mandate's not going to change. It is entirely legal. That's part of the difficulty that we face. I've seen all of the arguments against that. I know Chow Water number 5 is up on the internet at the moment. It's a fair bet that in the next 2 weeks, Chow Water 6 will come up, which will define the industries and the permitted workers who in turn are mandated. that will absolutely be the case. If it's not, it might change the conversation, but that will happen. And we will support you where we can. But the best thing you can do is go and get vaccinated. The best thing you can do is go and talk to your GP, your family and your friends, so that we can get through this and start living some sort of COVID normal life. Those that object to the vaccination, I get it. There's an assumption in all of this that bad actors are acting badly. It's not. It's good actors who have concerns. And many of our members are amongst them. And we'll support them in any way we can, but it is very difficult because the mandate is in fact legal. So let us know what you think. Come to us with more questions and scenarios. We'll try and answer all of them either on social media or directly. In what is a 1 in 100 year pandemic, whoever thought it would happen, it's happened. Now we've just got to get through it and get jabbed. Cheers.